Hello everyone, this is Scarzig, and welcome to the reboot of Darkest Dungeon. A few of you may recall that I tried to do a little bit of gameplay for this game way back when, a few months ago, but my hard drive died, so all my game data was lost, all the saved up recordings I had for it was lost, so I pretty much just abandoned the project. It was very tragic because I was having a pretty good time with the game. But I wanted to, once again, test my luck and expand my channel to include a couple more games and break the curse. The last couple times I tried to add a new game to my channel were, of course, the last two times that my hard drive committed suicide and I had to get my computer repaired. So hopefully nothing terrible will happen to us and we will dive right back into Darkest Dungeon. This again is a roguelike dungeon crawler. Oh god, what should we name our file? Reboot. Where monsters can crit you and you have to worry about your heroes that you recruit to your party developing stress-based mental illnesses, all that jazz.
You will arrive along the old road. It winds with a troubling serpent-like suggestion through the corrupted countryside, leading only, I fear, to ever more tenebrous places. There is a sickness in the ancient pitted cobbles of the old road, and on its writhing path you will face viciousness, violence, and perhaps other damnably transcendent terrors.
Ooh, spooky.
So steel yourself, and remember there can be no bravery without madness. The old road will take you to hell, but in that gaping abyss, we will find our redemption.
Nice. Okay, so we get a letter from our relative telling us about, you know, the backstory and everything. Our family owned a castle at the top of the hill overlooking this hamlet. You can see it in the background here. And he found some old documents or something talking about some treasure that was buried deep underneath the estate. So he spent the family fortune to dig and dig and dig and find and look for this treasure, and he was getting caught up in all kinds of occult stuff. If you want to watch the opening cinematic, you can actually probably track down my previous set of videos I did for this game. It's still loading. But we're gonna have a good time. This is a really fun game. Hopefully I won't be too rusty. You click on the map here, and yeah, and then you just walk. You can find enemies, treasure, and different aspects of the environment that you can interact with. So we're going first. We're going to use Open Vein, which deals damage and causes bleed, which is a damage over time status effect. And then we just do our melee attack. Takes him out pretty easily. And let me know about the sound and whatnot. I have... yeah, so we can click on an object or press W to interact with it. We'll search this tent, find some valuables, found some gold, cool. I tweaked the audio so that it wouldn't cancel out my voice too much. I think the narrator sounds a bit quiet. We're going to focus on this big guy in the front before we can get to this guy in the back. So we're going to do Open Vein on him to get him to bleed first. Bleeding penetrates defense, so it's a really great way to take down really tanky targets. And his attack that he just did shuffled the order of my party. And depending on where your party is positioned in the lineup, they might be able to only use certain skills, or they might be only able to reach certain targets. So we're just going to keep doing what we're doing. Again, we want to take out this big guy first. and then the ranged guy isn't as strong, so it'll be pretty easy. Ooh, really solid hit. When most monsters die, they leave corpses. Corpses act as temporary obstacles, right? So it's like he's still blocking the way, right? For a few more turns, we still want to get at this guy. What we are going to do is use Tracking Shot. It's a ranged attack, so we can shoot him, and then it buffs us. Next turn, I'll just swap places. And that'll cost my turn to reshuffle my party around. And now that he has a buff to give him accuracy and crit chance and a little bit of damage, we can use our pistol shot, which is single target, to start shooting this guy. And the Highwaymen, our guy here, our character, have access to shoot him this entire time, of course. It's just that we wanted to use all of the DPS we could to take out that fat guy. Because he was the most damage threat to us. Ooh, so critical hit, that's pretty cool. Get some nice treasure, food.
So too will resistance.
Quest complete. The symbol actually appears up in this corner where my camera is. I felt that that was the best location for it, so that you can still see everything that's important on the screen. But we're going to continue adventuring so that we can get this chest. Something doesn't look quite right with this one. It's trapped. Oh, well. So there was nothing in it. Alright. Fool me once, he said, so... So we got some treasure, and we did get some food. Your party actually gets hungry while you're adventuring, so you have to make sure you bring food with you. Weld phobe, plus 20 stress and web, thick-blooded, blight resist. Okay. And then you get little bonus attributes at the end of the missions that affect your party positively or negatively, as we just saw.
Such as it is. This squalid hamlet, these corrupted lands, they are yours now, and you are bound to them.
And we unlock a couple different areas of the hamlet, and we'll get more and more as we keep going. We have the graveyard, where all the dead people are buried, and the stagecoach is where new heroes arrive in town looking for adventure, and we bring them on to, have them help us out. This is just the place where we view cinematics and whatnot. This game does feature permadeath. I don't think I went over that. When somebody gets killed when you're out on a mission, they stay dead forever. So you want to try to keep all of your heroes and stuff, healthy as possible. And when they get stressed out in the dungeons, it's
madness and morbidity. Your work begins.
You have to pay gold to heal their mental state, and I think we want this guy in the fourth slot, right? He can be in the third or fourth slot, but because of incision, he needs to be in the third slot. The Plague Doctor is actually a female class. And yeah, fourth slot, fourth slot, fourth slot. Hand of Light can only be used in the first two slots, but I guess it'll come in handy if we get shuffled around. So we're going to select this mission, of course, and then we'll provision.
The cost of preparedness, measured now in gold.
Take different supplies.
Later.
They recommend you bring 8 food and 4 torches. 4. And that's just a safety net for new players, of course. But I think it's best to be a bit more safe, even though you probably aren't going to use all the food. You can eat it even though you aren't hungry, just to restore a few points of health. So this way we don't have to get we don't have to take too many chances, hopefully. That's just telling us how to find stats. The objective of this mission is to explore 90% of the rooms. I wonder how this works. You salvage the unburnt torch. Okay, so she did that automatically. I see. She has the curious. This is a negative status effect. Sometimes you don't want to interact with stuff around your environment because it might be too risky or dangerous. And the curious debuff makes her do that on purpose. We want to use the torches to keep the light up. The torches will slowly fade, and as the torch goes down, enemies get stronger when it's darker. We don't want to use open vein on the undead. You can see down here they have 200% bleed resist. And emboldening vapors. Okay, so I guess we just buff. I think the rest of the Plague Doctor's skills, she needs to be in the 4 slots, so I think I might need to swap them after all. But for now, doesn't that do bonus damage to undead? I think the Vestal gets something that does bonus damage to undead stuff. It would make sense. But when you're in between fights, you can shuffle around your party as much as you want. Blinding gas has to be 3 or 4. Oh, I see. The reason she couldn't use those other skills is because they only target stuff in the back row. It wasn't because she was in the wrong spot. So we are going to shuffle this around. And if we get in a fight like that where it's just melee people, then we'll just use emboldening vapors to buff our party. So we find a shovel. I took one with us just in case. Sometimes there's like crumbled stone. Ah, this is a perfect example where you want to use the shovel to clear it out. And if you don't have any shovels, your party has to use their bare hands. And then they take damage and they get stressed out because of it. Same thing, the undead doesn't bleed, so we're just going to use Grape Shot Blast to AoE them. Golden Vapors. Buff up our Crusader. He's our heavy hitter. Ooh, lucky there. Dazzling Light. This stuns. So that's pretty useful. It doesn't hit the 4th row, but technically this battle only has 3 rows. So we'll do some damage and stun her in the back so she can't do that stressful incantation on our party. So yeah, pretty straightforward so far. The game is pretty tactical. We're going to use Zealous Accusation because we have a damage boost. Zealous Accusation is going to hit these first 2 slots. So bam, we get to kill those. And then the Highwayman has the perfect chance to kill her. You need to be as tactical as possible because you can critical strike enemies, they can critically hit you, you can miss your attacks, enemies can miss you sometimes, and so to minimize the effects of the randomness, right? Because, you know, in RPGs, that, like, comes with the territory. Whistles. Doors for the taking. So he kept that, he checked that treasure automatically and he kept it for himself because he has Kleptomaniac. So my party has 2 negative aspects that actually gimps my ability to get treasure. The treasure that you get while you're adventuring is the same treasure that you have to spend on resupplying for your next expedition into the dungeons. So if you spend your get supplies and whatnot and use everything inefficiently, you're going to slowly run out of money and you won't have a chance to, you know, properly provision yourself for expeditions, which increases your chance of failure. So there's also that long-running strategic aspect of the game where you can just sort of work your way into a corner. We're going to use move. You can only shuffle 1 position during battle, but we're going to try to get the Plague Doctor out of the front line. We can heal. It would be nice to stun her, but I think that it's best to heal the Plague Doctor. Ooh, crit heal, cool. And that heals a little bit of the stress damage as well. How much does this do? It does 7 to 14, so I can use this, kill the front. Awesome. That way I weaken him and kill the one in the front. Then we use Grape Shot Blast. Down in the bottom left corner here, you can see it does 3 to 5 damage, which is enough to kill the Bone Soldier. So he's dead, doesn't leave a corpse. Oh, he does, he does. That attack that got hit earlier, the Plague Doctor's bleeding, but it's only like a 1 damage tick, so it's not too important. We're just going to shuffle her into the back. Eldritch Push. Then that shuffles him. Damn it! Crusaders can't do anything when they get pushed to the back like that. So we're going to stun her so she can't do any more shenanigans. And hopefully the Highwayman can finish her off. Now that that corpse has died, it moved her a slot forward, so she's in melee range. Like the first 2 slots are pretty much melee range. So pretty good treasure. We'll take that. Don't forget to shuffle your party around after the fight. And then we'll check this chest. The heirloom chest, you use the skeleton key on. I do remember that. And then it gives you extra treasure because you find a hidden compartment in the chest. When you're getting ready to move to a new room, depending on your torch level, you have a chance of getting a scouting roll. And so now we can kind of see ahead in the dungeon and plan our pathway. And you can see also we have limited inventory space, so you have to be very selective about what treasure you decide to keep. How much, if you bring more supplies, you'll be safer, but you won't be able to carry as much treasure and everything like that. So the Highwayman has a 90% chance to disarm this trap, so we move close to it, click on the Highwayman, and then click on the trap. Oh, you triggered it! You only had a 10% chance! So he takes stress damage and HP damage. That stinks. There is another trap. So what we can do is have him try to disarm this trap. And if he gets that, it actually relieves some stress when they're successful in something you want them to do. Cool. So he healed a little bit of stress. That's pretty decent. We're going to come down here. There's a room battle coming up. We're actually running out of torches. So I brought the recommended amount of torches, but it's not enough. Only 3 damage. That's not too bad. We're going to use Dazzling Light to stun him. Cool. And then we'll do Emboldening Vapors. Yeah, we'll pistol shot. Oops. I thought I misclicked. I wanted to shoot him because the Zealous Accusation that's buffed up is gonna finish them off for sure. I suppose that's for the best actually because he's stunned and then that way he dies. It's kind of hard to know who's gonna go next. I'm not sure exactly how they... He has speed of 7 and I suppose I could like calculate it. He's got 5 speed, 2 speed, so I suppose you could run the numbers if you really felt like it. But we'll just pistol... Oh, miss! Damn. But him shaking off the stun takes his turn. So I think we'll just Divine Grace and have her start topping off the party. And Emboldening Vapors doesn't stack on itself, I'm pretty sure. It does have a duration. Yeah. Hit him.
Abomination cleansed from our lands.
Another miss. Wow. We'll just buff our party, I guess. The Plague Doctor can't really do much. Am I in the wrong position to use these skills? No, see, because the 2 yellow dots, I can be in position 3 or 4. But it's not letting me use any of my skills on this person who's in position 3. Is that a bug? I can't reach him. We'll just skip our turn. And do we want to heal or stun him again? I guess we'll heal. What I probably could have done with the Crusader instead is done the Zealous Accusation to hit these 2 corpses and get them cleared out and bring him forward, because the Highwayman has missed twice in a row and I would have been able to just finish that guy. How much damage does that do? 2 to 3 or 2 to 3? They do the same damage. So I'll do the one that stuns because the Vestal doesn't need to heal. So what is going on? I'm going to try to shuffle the Plague Doctor back and see if it gives me an option. Well, now... Why do we tarry and invite danger? If you take too long to finish the fight, it negatively affects your party. It's to keep you from just chain stunning an enemy and topping off your party every time you have to fight someone. Jeez. I'm going to leave the Plague Doctor in the 4th slot to see if it does anything. We'll have the Plague Doctor check this. Oops. We'll click the Plague Doctor and click this to search it. It's a holy fountain. We'll use the holy water on it. It heals her and gives her a stress heal. So, just a way to keep that under control. If we backtrack to this room, we'll hit this curio, and that might be some treasure. Hopefully, you know, it doesn't get stolen from us. Cool. 1,000 gold, not too bad. And so we're going to backtrack to go back through the door we came in. When your party is moving in reverse, they get kind of stressed out because they're afraid they're going to get snuck up on. But let's hurry up and, you know, beat this dungeon. Nothing too bad has happened to us so far. This game is pretty famous for giving you some pretty bad rolls of RNG. Aw, man. Well, he only took food. The Onyx is kind of shitty that he took that. But, I mean, we don't need the food. When your party becomes hungry, that's also based on a random roll as well. And, yeah, so there's a hunger roll. And any food we have left over, we actually sell back to the shop. And you come out with a little bit more overall gold. We're going to continue adventuring even though we beat the dungeon, so that we can explore this last room. We're out of torches though. Shovel. But it's a battle room with treasure, so it's probably going to be really good. And with the dark like this should be a pretty wild fight. So right off the bat, we are going to do Dazzling Light on this guy. This has to be some kind of bug. What the hell? Where I can't use Blinding Gas or Plague Grenade. Is there like some kind of debuff on her that I can't... What the hell? Ugh. So I guess we'll just Emboldening Vapors. That's really unfortunate because being able to poison and stun really helps out your party in the long run. Especially for like really big fights like this. So with the buff though, the Zealous Accusation is going to allow us to clear out this front line pretty easily. Another Grape Shot Blast. Cool. See this, the front three are almost dead. This party's really good at hitting the front line. Will Emboldening Vapors the Highwayman, because his pistol shot will be able to reach this guy in the back. And we'll Divine Grace here. Yikes, 8 damage. Good thing I used the Divine Grace. The Tempting Goblet just does like minuscule damage, but it stresses out your party. And hopefully, if anybody watching this has any experience with Darkest Dungeon, please tell me why I cannot use any other skills with the Plague Doctor. I feel like I'm missing something really obvious. Clear out those bodies, brings him forward into melee range so we can just beat him up. Open vein, how much does it do? It does 6 to 11 damage. Yeah, so either skill will be fine. Because he doesn't bleed, it's probably best to just do that. It doesn't matter. Heal the highwayman. He took a really bad crossbow shot earlier. Nice.
Success so clearly in...
We got some treasure. Then we can open this. We can use our last key to open the hidden compartment and get more treasure. Okay, nice. So now we can back out. Quest complete. We get this thing, the Blight Stone. Plus 20% Blight skill chance. That's not really worth it. But you can actually sell these charms. Are just little accessories that you can equip. All of your heroes can have 2 equipped, so that you can affect their stats a little bit or empower their abilities, but that's not really something that we need. Dark Temptation. Prone to investigating the dark arts, plus 10% max HP. No stress penalty when walking backwards. Alright. That's pretty useful.
I remember days when the sun shone.
You unlock the Tavern and the Abbey. And these are ways that you de-stress your party. They aren't too stressed out right now, but they have, their meter is 200 long. When they get up 100, they get an affliction, which is like either going to, it's usually a really negative effect where they like don't listen to your commands and they like act irrationally. And then if they get all the way up to 200 stress, they have a heart attack and die. So you want to make sure they have pretty low stress before they even start the dungeon. And again, the Tavern and the Abbey are just different ways to de-stress your party. Who do we get from the stagecoach? 2 more Crusaders? Okay. Join me. Alright, so I gotta figure out why I couldn't use my abilities. It must have just been a bug or something. When I was like shuffling my party around, it like didn't detect it right. Because Emboldening Vapors you can use in any slot you see there. Blinding Gas you have to be in position 1 or position 2. You can see by the dots. And it only affects enemy position 3 and 4. And then Incision you can use in position 1, 2, or 3. And then it affects enemy position 1 and 2. And I was in all the positions of like 3 and 4 and everything, and it wasn't letting me use any of these. So it must have been, I don't know. I must have missed something. But we'll cut the episode here after doing that beginner dungeon, kind of getting back into the groove of things. And we'll see what we can do next time with all of these Crusaders that they gave us. So, I just noticed my face cam is blocking this out, so it says the Boot Estate. So, next time, join me at the Boot Estate, and you have a good one.